Hey guys, it's Duda 2 here, and continuing on through this book, Joseki Compass. Um, I realize this is probably not everybody's thing, so I think once I get to number 10 and I do a review on the first 10, I'm going to take a break, branch out, do a couple other things, and then I'll come back and do the last 10. I have a pretty cool idea of where I'd like to go after this. I see that there's not a lot of views on this, so this is probably not holding a lot of people's interest, probably just a select few. So I'll probably just do this one and one more, and then I'll take a break. But this is something that I'm studying myself, so I was hoping that I would be able to continue, just kind of working through it. But I realized that you could spend too much time on joseki, so I'm trying to branch out from that. And this one, as shown at the end of the last one, we have an interesting joseki here. This is another joseki I don't like. I think it's pretty awesome when I play it on somebody else, and I get very frustrated and annoyed when somebody plays it on me. It's fairly common, and I don't like it, but to each his own, I guess. It just seems very one-sided, like one of our previous ones. I think 2 back, number 7. But let's go over it. It's short. There's only 4. What is it? 4 deviation sequences, so we can see what happens when it gets deviated with. So let's jump right to it. This should be fairly familiar to a lot of you guys. If you haven't seen it, you'll see it soon enough. Alright, seems pretty good right there. So let's see, how do we have it like this? Okay, so white approaches, and black does the standard back off. By the way, I'm using a new board. This is one of my homemade boards. It seems to show up a little clearer, and the stone clicking isn't annoyingly loud. Some of you guys have expressed concern that I'm slamming the stones down. I'm really not, but the board that I used before, different boards, make it seem a little louder. I'm dealing with the new sound system. Anyway, this shouldn't be so loud. So white says, I want to just split the corner with you. And black says, no, no, no. You're going to take the entire corner and you're going to like it. Or I'm going to take the corner and get everything. And you're going to get nothing. So white says, well, I guess I'll just take the corner. No big deal, right? Where are we here? I'll just take the corner. Everything's cool. And black says, then I'm going to get a massive hole. I'm sorry, wrong stone. White says, well, I don't want you to cut me. Pushes out. White's now going to play here. Black plays here. White plays here. Black plays here. As you can see, this white stone is, unless it's got a place to run, is in a ladder. Black has great influence, and white has, a decent corner, but he really is barricaded. He's barricaded in. There's really no good way out of here. So, though this is joseki, this looks very good for black. I'm assuming, let's see, if black forces white into this. So white, I think, wouldn't, this is what confuses me about it. Maybe one of you guys can help me answer this, but white didn't choose this joseki. Black kind of forced it on him. So, black could pretty much do this to white whenever he wants, unless he, I guess, answers different. I don't know. This might be acceptable to white if he just needs a teeny tiny corner, or maybe if white has some type of, stones over here or something, which would really limit this, but then black wouldn't play it. So this is where I'm struggling right now with my joseki. Let's go through it one more time and kind of explain what's going on. and then we'll go through the variations. It should be fairly quick. So white approaches, black backs off, right, expecting everything standard, which is happening. White agrees. White says, I want to split it. Black's going to do a type of pincer movement. Now I guess we'll go over some variations where white decides to jump out, but right now white says, I'll take the corner. Black says, then I'm going to cut you off. White says, I don't want you to cut me off. Black says, fine, I'll play over here, and I'll exploit this weakness. White says, I don't want you to exploit this weakness, so I'm going to try to jump out, threaten to jump out. Black stops to jump out. White protects his weakness. Black protects his weakness. And a joseki. So let's see, it's pretty much over, right? So let's go over the 4 different variations that could happen and see why it's not a good idea for any of these variations other than the joseki most of the time. So what happens if black just says, forget it, I'm jumping out? Well, it's a bad idea most of the time. Same reason it's a bad idea for a pincer, because black now has the corner, or at least he takes the main spot that white wants, and if the white can run out, he doesn't have a base, right? So definitely good for black. Black has a solid group and white has a floating group. So this variation is definitely good for black. Let's see the only variation that's actually good for white. It would be if black decides to play the wrong order of moves and play here and just kind of block white from going behind. Then white can jump out, and white is very happy, right? White got a base for his group and outward influence. So this is a bad failure, or at least a pretty bad failure for black, right? The stone can now come under attack. These stones can now come under attack. Definitely not cool for black. So playing this solidly and slowly and passively is just going to probably get you surrounded, and not a good idea. Let's see what happens if white plays a coward's move, according to the book. Right here. Instead of kind of pushing out, he gets really scared about this cut and decides to play here. Even I could see at my level, this is bad. And white's just going to play here. And black's influence is now, it's not wobbly, it's solid. I mean, white, there's not much white can do. He can't really jump out. Any attempt to move here, black will just follow. I mean, this is just obviously bad for white. I think most people could see this. He got what? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points-ish. Maybe 11 or 12, depending on who plays first over here. And, I mean, just this area of black points is 10 points. So it's obviously bad for white. Let's check out one last example of a deviation from joseki. Instead of playing here, which is what the joseki calls for, we play here. Now this is up until now exactly how I've been playing, because it seems safer, right? When white plays here, black's going to play here. which is going to play down here. Black is simply going to be able to do this double hana here. Why is that? Normally black, I think we've learned from the previous joseki, black does not want to block on the second line from the third to the second, because white could just cut and then play down here, either capture this or capture this. But in this case he can't, because white's shape is weak. I'll show you why. Let's let white play up here, right? So now black's in Atari. Not good. Black will simply connect. But now we realize white really can't play here, because then black is going to win this, right? If white takes, black's going to take this. If white protects, then black's going to take this. Either way, white is in some deep crap because of this shape weakness here. So, after white plays there, or yeah, after white does this cut, black pulls back and fixes, white has to fix now, which gives black the ability to either capture the stone in an Atari, or just continue to push and just make your wall even more massive. This is just the proper sequence. So as you can see, black's influence is even better than before, and white only gained maybe 1 point of territory and maybe even lost some. So the way I was playing is definitely nowhere near as good as the recommended joseki. So let's do a quick review, and then we'll jump to a preview of the next one. So the joseki states here. And there it is. This is our new joseki we learned today with 4 different variations. Hopefully these variations will give you some food for thought and help you to study to learn to play the joseki, without deviating very much, without a good reason to do so. So let's take a look and see what the next joseki is. All right. Well, this would be a good one to end on, at least temporarily. Pretty standard. Then we have our approach. We'll do it over here. And then white does his, black does the pincer. And white's going to jump into the corner. Now black is, instead of this one, which is the one we've already went over, we're going to see what happens when black blocks this way, and the different variations that goes on with this. White's going to play up. Black's going to play up. This is another very common. White's going to play here. Black's going to blockade here. And it's showing that this is normally only played when black has some type of stone in this area. So this should be a hint as to when to play one way and when to play the other. And we'll get into that when we go over this joseki here. So that's it. Let's situate the camera so I can tell you guys goodbye. Hopefully this series is proving interesting for you. And one more to go. Alright guys, I'll see you next week. Later.